of traffic. We see the Corvette held you up a little bit over here. That was nice of it.
The problem is you're so fast on the straight and slow on the corner. I guess that's a practice.
Yeah. How's the car feel with the lower tire pressure?
Feels better on the low speed, but not as good on the high speed.
Okay, so we'll leave them where they are.
Yeah.
Just leave them where they are.
Although the only thing I'm curious, is there a pressure difference between left and right?
There.
There.
All right, whatever you
Today is the beginning of the end and the start of a new beginning. Time has come to redefine yourself and let go of the demons in your head that have held you in captivity for so long. It's time to flip the page and prove them wrong. It's time for rebirth. Yeah, time's up to say goodbye to all the haters, doubters, and non-believers trying to bring you down. In the blink of an eye, you'll realize that there's so much more to the book than the page you were stuck on. Finally, you will feel free to live a life you love living instead of the life you think other people want you to live. Remember, you are the highest authority when it comes to knowing what you want and what you love. So stop trading yourself for the approval from others. Ladies and gentlemen, weirdos and geeks, please repeat after me. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a I don't give a fuck. 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 It's time to start doing the right thing. So trust your instinct, stop listening to others, and own your decisions. People will always tell you what to do, and how to live. So let's create space for what matters most to you. You'll be glad you did. Now start claiming your time and your mental well-being by saying no more. No more. Say it loudly and proudly. In other words, fuck you. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Target acquired.
Eagle 1, first strike. You have permission to engage the target.
Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
And there we are. Just like that, we're back again. How is everybody tonight? Hope everybody's well. Hope everybody is fine, doing good, enjoying life. What's up, guys? How's it going? I see you out there. I see K2 Keep on Trucking made it here first. How about that? Ghost 1978. I believe he was the first member, and he gave the first like. That's awesome. Imperius is chilling around here somewhere. TR Finley's in the house. So is Damien, our parkour guy. I don't know if you guys are checking out his channel. I hope it's growing. He needs to, he needs to get his stuff out there, man. 13 Bujikon is out there, and he is. He threw me a bunch of emojis, which is cool. Mr. Boule, top mod in the house. Tiki Tack, good to see you out there, man. I caught you on Torsha last night. I was glad to be able to throw out a mention. Next time you're going to do something like that, let me know and we'll promote you, bro. We got to help each other. in this sphere, and it's got to be there. Angry Casper, what's up, dude? Yeah, so the in order, the first video with the RX-8, that's a pro driver, super cool dude at a test day in Colorado. The second video, which is the black MX-5, that's at a track down in Arizona called Indy Motorsports Park, with not a pro driver, but a very good amateur driver who was being coached by one of my pros that weekend, and he did exceedingly well. The car behind him was an F production car on slicks with more horsepower, and he couldn't catch us, which was great, because we were just at badass. And the third video is the black Evo. That was not my car. That's a car that I built, tuned, and prepared, but I did not own. And that belongs to Texas Dave. And we did the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb with that. It did blow the engine with not very far to go. It had cylinder head problems, and I think the cylinder head had just been cut too many times. And we probably should not have run it, but it was the only cylinder head he had, so that's what we did. And then the last video, which is the TV coverage. That's TV coverage from the first pro race that I entered as a team owner, and so it's special to me. And in that race is Paul Brown, who is no longer with us, and the guy driving my car that weekend is Chip Herr. And you can see him in the RX-8. He gets hit by the Volkswagen, which cuts down our tire, and also knocked the fuel pump loose in the fuel tank, which we didn't find till the next day in race number 2. But we did very well. We qualified exceedingly well. We did very well in that race. It was a good performance for us. And yeah, it's most of those guys were true pro racers and very good at their job. Effing Epic is in the house. Anson Knowles, I see you out there. Not really sure who the fat man is, but I'm going to assume it's me. But I've lost weight, so I won't be the fat man any longer. But it is good to see you out there, Anson Knowles. You are, you're a cool dude, man. And I saw you the other night on Fabian Liberty, and that was Fabian was having a great time with those guys. I couldn't stay and watch it all, but it was a really good time. And let's see who else. Robert Demita is out there. I'm not really, I don't recognize the name, but hey, welcome in. John Burt from Australia is in the house. Ticky Tack in the house. Midnight Newton in the house. John Deadman, I see you, buddy. How you been? I hadn't seen you in a while. You need to hang out more. So, yeah. That Casper, that Evo had like 600 horsepower plus a little bit more on nitrous. So it was a pretty quick car. I just think that on the nitrous, to be honest, on nitrous, it was just it was just a little too much. So, hey, no worries, John Deadman. I have this show. I compete against a lot of people, so I get it that sometimes there's other cool stuff to watch, and that's fine. Whatever. All right, guys. So it looks like we've got a pretty decent crowd in here tonight of folks, and I was actually hoping to figure out a guest for tonight, but unfortunately was not able to. That's really my fault. I had a bunch of stuff going on. John Deadman, that's terrible, man. I hope she's okay. That's really bad. I'm sorry to hear that, buddy. I hope you're yeah. It's all good. Okay, man. All right. So yeah. Well, hey man, if I'm glad everything's okay. I really am. So, guys, also, as before I forget, as part of my opening, I must engage in my shilling. I must engage in shilling for the cause. Guys, it does cost me money to run this stream. It does need to at some point become profitable. And the way that I can do that, the only way currently is through donations. And if you can't afford it, don't send any money in. But if you can spare a few dollars, please send them in, and I will make great use of them. For those of you who are eagerly awaiting merchandise, I think we've settled on the design for the man card hats, and they will be out. I don't know, maybe in the next. It's supposed to take 2 weeks. There's a holiday in there, so I'm assuming 2 to 3 weeks. Actually, probably 2 weeks now. Maybe we'll see, depending on the holiday. And then the T-shirt is coming out right after that, and then we're going to have a bunch of other good stuff coming down the pipe. But again, if you can donate, fine. If you want to interact with the show and almost in real time, you can do that by going to Streamlabs. The link is normally in the chat, but I failed tonight to include it. I will do that now because I don't need to fail all the time. If you donate through Streamlabs, it does only take 30%, or pardon me, 3% roughly, whereas currently YouTube will take up to as much as 30%. Usually, I think I'm running. It's hard to tell because I make so much. I make so little money through YouTube, but it looks like they take a pretty hefty 15 to 20%. I guess I'm just not cool enough for them to take 30% from me yet. But please, keep that in mind, that it is much better to go over to Streamlabs and donate than it is to donate on YouTube. The link is now in the description, so go right ahead. Don't need to fail all the time. Also, guys, the other cool thing about Streamlabs is TTS. I lowered the TTS down to $10, so you guys can have fun with the TTS, and as long as you keep it within reason. I do have the standard bad word list in there, so make do with that what you can. But I've not enhanced the bad word list, so it's good. So anyway, guys, with that said, let's move forward. Like I said, we've got I think I've got everything pretty much settled in there. Trying to get everything nailed down here. I do apologize. I was also running late tonight. I know you guys probably didn't realize it, but I was running late tonight, and so I'm a little tiny bit behind. But yeah. We got the hats are going to be lit. They're going to be. I didn't bring it out here. I don't think. So they're going to be a lot like this, except they'll have. I'm doing brass rivets in the corner, leather patch, branded on there, or I don't know if they're branding it or if that's ink of some kind, but they're going to be slick. They're going to be really cool. Still working on price point because I'm adding the brads in, and that adds a little bit, so we'll figure it out. But they'll be cool hats, and you can wear them anywhere and tell everyone where you got them, and that'll be awesome. And I think we're going to do. He's got so many colors and options, it's crazy. So as soon as I get them ironed out, some sort of order, we'll figure it out. Yeah, I like the rivets, Mr. Boulay. The rivets. I wasn't gonna do the rivets, and then I saw them, and I'm like, no, I gotta have the rivets, man. I gotta have it. So that's where we're going with that. So, and with that, guys, I think I have covered all of my bases. I think I've talked about pretty much everything we need to talk about. That's awesome. That's awesome. Good deal. Trying to really pump up the memberships, guys. So if you want, become a member. It's about a cup of coffee a month, and it does support the show. So that's good. What's up, Grunge Head? What's up, Angel Berber? Welcome to the show. I'm just getting started. I was just finishing up my obscene profit announcement. Oh, ZD Den is here. ZT Den, one of my favorite things. Yes. Oh wait, it's TTS. It'll go off in just 1 second. It should. Why is my TTS not working? Why did it not TTS? It's going to upset me. Give me 1 second, guys. No, it hasn't hit yet. That's odd. All right, that works. It's like it's working like it's supposed to. Very odd. All right. $10 comes in from ZD Den. Yes, people donate. Think of it as today's PBS. Please keep this stream alive. Even repeated donations of $2 add up. Peace out. I'm listening and cleaning up the mess I made in the kitchen. I'm sorry to hear that you made the mess in the kitchen, ZD Den. Hopefully you did. Your everything is okay, and you'll make it clear. And thank you very much for the $10 you sent in. I'm not sure why TTS did not work. It's very strange. I don't have to remember to turn it on, Mr. Boulay, but it is odd. It's very strange because it didn't even. Very strange. Odd. Well, we'll see if it happens again, and I may have to look into that. It could be bugged. Could be bugged. Well, in any case, unlike Brian, I will move on with the show. No, I'm just kidding. Brian's cool. Brian's a good guy. All right. Is it set up for Streamlabs? No, it does the Alex Summers. No, it TTS on Streamlabs or YouTube, and it always does it on. It has been working flawlessly. I'm not really sure why it has decided not to. I can't have a Brian like meltdown. I can't get there. So, yeah, I'm really not. I don't know how to figure out the super chat goals. I mean, I can set the goals for the number of super chats. I'm just not really sure about the amounts. I feel really weird about it. There's something odd about me. Well, there's something odd about me about asking people for money to start with. It's very difficult to do. I literally have a thing on my computer to remind me to do that, because normally I will just go right into the night subject and start talking and not even think about it. I have to remind myself to do it because it seems odd. It's odd to me to do it. But it is what it is. And, I can't, basically the way that I've been forced to look at this is this takes a lot of time out of my life that I would be doing other things. especially the stuff behind the scenes. This part of it's actually kind of fun, but all of the work behind the scenes, man, some of it just sucks. And I'm just not very good at it. And I'm just not very good at asking for money in general, unless it's in a specific format. Why is my TTS not working? This is actually going to drive me crazy. $9.99 should have triggered the TTS. All right, let me read this. From Michelle. Michelle, one of my mods. Do it. I don't have that on my soundboard. I don't think. Let me see. Let me make sure. Let's see. There it is.
Robert Demeter donated $10. Super chat. Okay, sad face.
Ah, look, it works. And why did it not work for you guys? It just doesn't work. All right, it's fine. Guys, it's fine. Thank you. All right. If Anson wants the link, Anson can come up. He will actually help out on the show tonight. All right, now let's see. Let me re-trigger Michelle's and see if it comes up. So odd. Oh well. Things happen, I guess. Let me pull this off the screen. That's right. That's right. I like that. Yesterday you said tomorrow. All right. All right, where was I? There was I saw a $70 more to open the panel. I like it. Let's see where we're at. There was something. Angry Casper. Michelle's holding the link hostage. It's funny. I like that. Make it happen. You guys are hilarious. It cracks me up. I'll allow it, though. Yeah, actually, Anson, Brian is very particular about his stream, and he and I are alike in a lot of ways like that. Here we go. Angry Casper comes in. Oh, fuck it. I'll give you a rare pill. Support from advertisers for this content is going to explode, providing the world doesn't explode first. You heard it here first. Angry Casper has the answer. Of course he does. He is the guy. All right. Whew. Can you talk about how Justin Trudeau said deporting immigrants brought down rent in major cities in Canada? Yeah, we could talk about that. I wasn't going to talk about politics tonight. I was going to talk about relationship kind of stuff. But hey, man, I'm open wherever to talk about good stuff like that. I will get to that momentarily. An interesting thing, and I almost feel like I need Michelle up on stage for this one, but we'll get We'll get there. You were right about what, Mr. Boulay? Help me out with what you were saying there. Speaker for the dead. How you doing, sir? How are you? No, I didn't. It was already on. I don't know. It's weirding out right now. We'll have to figure it out. I do have some static. I do? Really? Is that better or worse? I should not have static. I'm not seeing anywhere where I would have static. Do we have static? Okay. I just want to make sure everything was plugged in right. All right, cool, good. All right, guys. Sorry, this is highly unprofessional. We will move forward. But no, Mr. Boulay, you were not right. Everything is fine. It looks like I don't know what the problem with the TTS is. I'll figure it out later. Something may need to be restarted. I did reboot my entire system before the show, and sometimes that creates issues in and of itself. I'll turn down my. Whoa, that's the wrong button. Fuck. All right, that should be better. How about that? Is that good? I really didn't turn anything on, Mr. Boulay. And it's very weird because it shows Michelle's TTS there, and when I re-trigger it, nothing happens. I'm not really sure why, because when I click it, it should re-trigger it. It is not doing so. So I don't know. There may be something that needs to be rebooted or enabled, something, I don't know. But I did just reboot, and it may just be weird. All right, guys. Yeah. All right. All right. Let's see. All right, guys. So what I wanted to talk about tonight, and now, of course, you've kind of got me started thinking about politics. But what I wanted to talk about tonight is I've been listening over the past week, tons of shows about feminism and relationships and how, cheating and all of these different things. And it's and the other night when Farney was on, or the other day when Farney was on, we had a really great show. And afterwards, he and I sat and talked for a few minutes. And there was a lot of really good information there, a lot of really good stuff going on that I thought was, kind of wanted to talk about. And some of it is just how people perceive the dynamic when you are working, or your wife is working, or you're both working. There's the idea of various power dynamics, and and just all sorts of things. So I'm very interested.
Mr. Bulley donated $10. Just take the L already. Daggum.
There's no L's, bro. There's no L's. And the TTS worked just fine. I didn't start anything. But thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Welcome, Stepfire. Ghost 1979. Man, it's a really interesting discussion about cheating, and I feel like I probably should have Michelle up here for this one because I don't have it, or any of the other females in the audience. If you would like to come up, we would, it would be great. And you're in the tub. Well, I didn't need to know that. That's weird. He is Ned Flanders, Michelle. He is Ned Flanders. That's accurate. We'll stand by. We'll move on. We'll circle back to that. Yeah, promote the grift. Promote the grift, guys. I'm sorry I have to do it. So it's an interesting thing because I had a discussion. So I was having a discussion with someone the other night, and I was talking about how, in my opinion, women are basically told to waste their youth. And the reality is that in modern society, women are told that they can do whatever they want. Go be a girl boss, work hard, all of these things. Men really aren't. Men are told that we're violent, we're too aggressive, we're rude. All of these things. So as men and women get older, that what you tell men and what you tell young boys and young girls throughout their lives, it does shape their life. So if you're telling young girls the whole time they don't need no man, you got to go get your bag, and all of these other colloquialisms that we use in modern society, they'll believe that. They're going to believe that their whole life until something changes it. Then when you have a young boy and you're telling him his whole life, maybe not directly like you do the girl. Here we go. Stepfire has become a member. Thank you, sir. 4 months of membership for Stepfire. Awesome, dude. Thank you, buddy. So if a young boy hears practically his whole young life that he's too violent, he needs to restrain himself, he needs to be considerate of women and their feelings, he needs to do he needs to do right by women and many other things. But basically always never with the idea that he needs to lead women, that he needs to be assertive in life, and he has to push forward to get the things in life that he wants. If he's not told that, as a matter of fact, if he's told the whole time that that's wrong, that aggression it's too much. It's too much. You got to dial it back, bro. You got to dial it back. You're too aggro. You're too masculine. Too much like your dad. When you hear when young men hear that from parents and teachers and coaches, well, they start to believe it too. So on the one hand, you've got women being told they don't need no man, and men being told they aren't worth the women to start with. And how do we expect to come out of this ahead? This is literally the recipe for disaster. I can't think of anything more hurtful. Ghost 1978. I don't think that. I honestly, I think that's a winning move. I think that's part of the X Games. I think that's part of the X Games training manual. Speaking for the dead, modern uncertainty. Yeah, you know what? That you're right about that. So the real issue, guys and girls, mostly guys in here probably right now, is when you're telling this girl her whole life that she don't need no man. Girl power. You can do it, girl. You just feel it. And manifest it. I love that one. Manifest it. And it's going to work out. When she gets to be dating age and no dude wants to be around her because she's so aggressive and she's so not feminine, what do you know, what happens then? Well, now guys are just, guys are wrong, right? Guys are wrong. It's all the man's fault again, right? I mean, sure, why not? Sure it is. Why would it not be? And I'm being a little tongue in cheek here. I know that. Don't come at me. Don't say that that's not how it all works. But I'm being a little bit tongue in cheek. But this is really the way it is. And it's as parents, I'm watching parents kind of get shamed by other parents and teachers and class, classroom authorities. I hate to call them teachers. But they get shamed for being feminine, for wanting the man to open the jar, right? For not wanting to drive, right? For wanting to be a woman. And if today, dudes that act masculine are called red pill. They may not be red pill, but that's what they'll be called. And they'll be shunned for it. I don't know that I agree with that. I mean, honestly, I have issues with a lot of the practitioners and proponents. That's not really the right word. The marketers of red pill. I have problems with that. But the reality is that the red pill descriptors are sound masculine ideals. But let a young man show assertiveness. Let him show masculinity. Let him show assuredness. He'll be called cocky, arrogant, uncontrollable, wild card. It's really bad. And all of those things, by the way, are considered toxic, right? All of those things. And yet, when push comes to shove, and you have a female of the species with the male of the species, and she will pick, regardless of what regardless of what in all of society has told her, she's gonna pick that masculine dude. She's going to pick the provider. She's going to pick the man every time. The problem is, guys, we can say this, right? And we consider that a win. Men and women both, it's a win. You can't beat nature. It's a win. The right dude got the hot chick. Win, brother. Thumbs up. Awesome. Make it happen, Captain. But now that's only half the story. The other half of the story is because of that 16 years of indoctrination, that 20-year-old girl She still has all that rattling around in her brain that she's supposed to be the boss. She's supposed to be the girl boss. She's supposed to lead the house. I mean, it's her money. Separate checking accounts. She doesn't want to do this. We don't do it. Man needs to move for a job. Well, if you move, we're getting a divorce. Takes pride in the fact that she gets a divorce, as a matter of fact. And you know, she stood up for herself, and she did not let no man walk all over her. No sir, no ma'am. No. Got 2 or 3 baby daddies by the time she's 25. You know, it's just crazy. Because what we're doing is we're, whether we want to admit it or not, we are allowing our children to be indoctrinated every single day into a philosophy of life that will cause them to fail over and over and over and over again. K2, a lot of people get told that too, man. I'm going to be honest. You know, and we can see that. You know, like I knew guys that worked in the oil fields out in northern Colorado and into Wyoming and over into the Dakotas, and these guys made bank, bro. Like you're talking. I mean, it's a dirty job, and they were gone for weeks at a time doing it, but man, these guys were banging down. You know, it wasn't anything for those dudes to make $150,000, $200,000 a year. And he's a truck driver, guys. He's a truck driver. Michelle, he's a truck driver. K2 is a truck driver. I don't know what kind, but he's a truck driver. Yeah, Fredo, dude, you're right. $90K for 3 months work, and it's 3 months on and it's 3 months off, right? Or 3 months on and 45 days off, or something like that. It's crazy the money that those guys make, and they're looked down on. Women, I literally saw women that would not date them because it's a dirty job. It's tough. It's rough, man. You know, guys get hurt on the job all the time. You know? Guys, I'm serious, man. You know that it's you can, if you work an honest gig, right, of any kind. I don't care if you're a stockbroker, if you're a truck driver, if you're an oil field worker, if you work the rigs out in the Gulf, man, it don't matter. You put food on the table for your family, that's all that matters, man. That's all it is. Clothes on their back, food on the table. You know, I've actually known women, I'm not proud of this, but I've known women that have lied about what their husband's job was because they were embarrassed. They took his money, cashed his check, slept in his bed. When they talked to their friends, went to school, to the PTA meetings, they didn't say he worked on an oil rig. They didn't say that he was a long haul truck driver gone 3 days a week, 4 days a week. And I've seen it. I've actually seen that happen. I've heard it happen. And why? Well, I can tell you why. Because There's a narrative. There's a narrative that those kind of people are beneath other people. I want you to listen to that. There's a theme in society that our in theory, education system, our childcare system, our all of social networking system that doesn't value hard work. Matter of fact, it considers hard work sitting at a keyboard, never getting dirty, and just punching some keys, which can be hard, difficult work, but it's also often repetitive and not hard at all. It's just mentally taxing. It's a little taxing. Hard work is knowing that if you fuck up, you lose an arm. Like literally, like guy before you, you know, they call him one-handed Pete right now. You know what I'm saying? And these guys make serious money, man. These kinds of jobs make serious money. I had a friend of mine, a young man that worked for me for a while, and he learned a little bit from me about welding, and he ended up teaching him. So he was self-taught how to weld, and his dad owned a company, and his mom was a lawyer, and they had enough money to stake him. And he bought a welding rig, bought a truck, put the welding rig on the back of the truck, started himself. You know, he started welding gigs, welding gates and stuff, and added into Craigslist. This guy built himself. You know, he literally had every advantage in life, and he ended up, dude ended up being a self-made man. He owned property, and he made a lot of money. He ended up with like 3 or 4 guys working for him, running trucks. Bought a plasma table, was making parts for other welders. He always had girls that just didn't understand how much money he really made. You know, this dude was like 23 years old, 24 years old. He owned 2 houses that he didn't live in. He owned 2 rental properties, owned another house that he lived in. Kept about 30 grand in cash in his bank account at all times at like 24. You know, had a $70,000 truck that was paid for, $10,000 welding rig. Guy made a lot of money, and he was looked down on. You know, people don't value hard work. Women especially do not value hard work. I really cannot understand it. And worse, and I see this all the time in some of the people I deal with, they think that because you work that kind of a job, you don't know anything. So recently I was talking to a realtor, and we're buying some property. I actually bought a property today. So I'm talking to this lady, this nice lady, you know, and I have a contractor that I work with, and he is smart. He's super smart. And we were talking about some of the values and some of the, you know, what the cost would be and some other things. And once she found out that the guy advising me was a renovations guy, or, you know, and maybe she just works with idiots, but this guy's like super smart. She wouldn't listen to me about anything that he had to say, right? That because in her brain, he was too stupid. It was beneath him to have knowledge of how the market worked, of what the houses were worth, what the neighborhoods were, all of that kind of thing. I don't know. And it starts, guys, in our preschools. It starts It starts everywhere. I mean, it's just is. And honestly, I really want to blame it on feminism, right? I do. I really want to. But I think the reality is it's not just feminism. It's literally a socialist um, tactic to break down the nuclear family and to keep any sense of unity from forming and to promote class distinction. And it's an interesting thing. And I wish I actually had somebody up here to go back and forth on it with it. Ticky tack. If you can if you or Anson want to come up, Anson I thought was coming up, but if Anson hasn't already come, since Anson has not come up, Ticky tack. If you want to come up, you're welcome to come up, and we'll talk about this. Now I see you standing out there. I wanted Joe Mobley to talk about this since he has young children, and I believe he has both girls and boys. Where I only have boys. My oldest son, yeah, right, Mr. Boulay, that's right. Say your name 3 times and maybe she'll appear. Hey, you just showed up. We were talking about Octavius. We're talking about how our children are being trained to fail and in marriage relationships in life by having women being told that no man is good enough for them and they don't need no man anyway. Oh yeah, go walk your dogs, man. And men are being told that they can't be men, that they shouldn't be men, and that they just don't understand, and all of the above. They got to hold that in. They have to be um, less masculine, less, just less. That depends on how you look at it. If you only examine social media, sure, that's not how it is with my daughter, though. Yeah, it's true. She has you to help guide her. I'm talking about the unfortunate masses that do not. Yeah, I'm actually shocked Imperius hasn't been spurging out in the chat. This is right up his alley. So, yeah, I'm chumming the waters big time. I am, and I know it, which is very funny. He was here. Octavius, you're not wrong about that. But however, even girls with fathers are being taught at school to that they are girl bosses. They can do anything they want. Girl power. Be you don't need no man. I think there's even a song now that there are a couple of songs where that basically proclaim that women do not need men. I think that's very funny. What's up, Intel Wild? Good to see you. Good to see you out there. Yeah, I don't know, guys. That was my first big subject. I was really um, expecting Michelle to come up here and the yeah, CT is really busy. Yeah, Speaker for the Dead is correct. You have a good father in the house, and they still go to public school. Yeah. Octavius, you are correct. It is a matter of teaching your child to think ahead of time and continuing to keep communications with your child as they're in school. That's correct. Um, yeah, the schools are absolutely corrupt. Absolutely, 100%. Snow, Michelle. He's talking about snow, not the cocaine. God, so bad. That's funny. Yeah. How are you, Michigan Christian? I see you out there. I see you slipped in late. Cheryl, you're right. Um, this is actually a good point. Some dads really are just as bad because they've been emasculated to the point, or they're p-whipped to the point that they don't know up from down. That's a very real thing, and she's absolutely right about that. I've actually heard this before from other men. As a parent, you must invest time with your child. That's correct, to protect them from the wiles of the world. Elsewise, they're as a babe lost in the wood. That's very good. That's accurate. I like it. Very good. Yeah. Been in a rage about the fact the last 4 years we've deleted almost half the amount of children. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's tough, man. Tagashi. Those dads voted for Kamala. That's very funny. That's you're probably right. I mean, probably right. I'm not gonna vote against you. Good to see everybody coming in kind of late to the chat. That's okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the show. Um, Once again, I remind everyone that while I'm waiting for people to slowly make their way to the stage, this show is viewer and fan supported. I actually make almost no money. As a matter of fact, no money from YouTube. I think um, even with exceptionally high number of views over the last 30 days or so, I think I've made $26 from YouTube ad revenue. Go me. But yeah, it's mostly donos. And Cheryl, are you in my Discord? Okay, believe in yourself. That's cool. If you're in Discord, if you're in my Discord, Michelle or Cheryl, we will get you the link. So if you're not in my Discord, someone will post that shortly. But at any rate, guys, the oh boy, we're gonna get into it here. I like this one. If you anyway, look, if you can consider sending in super chats. $10 and up will be read by the TTS. Hopefully, it seems to be kind of being a little bit of a pain in the butt tonight, but we'll get there. Oh, that went too far, and we will be. I'm bringing it up now, Octavius. I have to scroll back a little bit. Yeah, and it's a very interesting thing right now. Imperious, what's up, buddy? How are you? I don't know if you've been listening to my little diatribe, but it's a very very good show tonight. Uh, at any rate, guys, consider sending in the TTS through Streamlabs. That would help out a lot. If not, or you can't afford to, that's cool too, man. Enjoy the show. It's going to be great. We're going to continue on. Now that I've taken my obscene profit break, we're going to get back. The larger question is, can a woman lead? If a woman is allowed to lead over a long enough time, is that what leads to society to be as it currently is? Well, that's a great line of questioning, and I like it. Can a woman lead? Yes. Can she lead a household? No, I don't think so. Can a if a woman is allowed to lead over a long enough time, is that what leads to society to be as it currently is? No. I would say that it doesn't help, but the problem is men have allowed that. Men have supported it. Without the backing of men, it couldn't happen. So while I would love to blame feminism for all of this, the reality is that it goes deeper than just feminism. It's feminism along with socialism and a lot of male weakness and frailty. So, and the idea that socialists want to destroy the nuclear family, and therefore feminism is a very good tool to do that. Yes, Angry Casper, you're right. A lot of people have hashed this out. I'm not. Yeah, it's. There's a lot of people who say this way better than I do. I'm just. I'm giving global, and rudimentary, to be honest, understanding of this, but yeah. Imperius says, having a shift covered by Angry Casper, what will the world do? Yeah, so Octavius, I think, yes, I believe a woman can lead. I think that, we have some examples of good female leadership. They're rare, but can they lead your family? No, I don't believe so. Can they lead your can they lead your church? No, definitely not. I don't believe that's true. I don't see how that happens. Can they lead much more than that? Yes, but I'm not really sure. Again, women leading is like Disney grip workers with brooms herding lemmings off the cliff. Interesting. That is interesting. Men do get shamed for leading women. That's true. We're going to get into that in just a second. That was my second half of this, Tagashi. You're ruining the surprise. Heartbender met a girl today. He is so happy. That's good. Mikey Balls, what's up, buddy? How you doing? How's it hanging, man? Yeah, this is actually really important. And this does lead into kind of where I was going to go with this. Tagashi says accurately, men also get shamed for leading women. You see it with Andrew all the time. That's true. And here's the thing, guys and girls. Has Cheryl made it yet? Cheryl, where you at? This will be way better with the female on the panel. So what we end up with in general when we have sorry guys, got beeped. What we end up with when we have a sorry. All right, when we end up with Michelle has joined.
I got you.
Cool. Yeah, can you talk for just a minute while I gotta
Heartbender about the girl you met?
Yeah, ask Heartbender about the girl he met. That would be great.
And let me just go back up and chat. I still have my bird on me, so we're changing his bedtime.
Did we get Cheryl a link?
I already got Cheryl Link. She said give her 10 minutes, which is why I
Okay,
just went
great.
ahead and
Yeah,
jumped
we've
up.
got
So
we got
that you
people
can.
coming in and out.
Oh yeah, I've
That's
been
good.
I've been linking people. I've been doing
Okay.
my modding duty.
Cool. So what Tagashi says about the shame, men do get shame all the time for leading women and or just not agreeing with women, right? Have you not seen where a woman gives an idea? Hey, let's do this. And the guy says, no, that doesn't make any sense. I don't think we should do that, whatever.
Mhm.
If there are any other women involved, and sometimes if there are men involved, you just don't want to take a girl's idea. You know, shoes right, you're wrong. Welcome, Casper, to the show. I think this is the first time you've been
Hey.
up on stage in my show.
No, second time.
Second time. All right. Well,
Yeah.
this hopefully this will be memorable as well.
Oh no.
But
You
lots of
fucking-
I find it a lot. I find this a lot. When you try and disagree with a woman when she's in a position of nebulous authority, right? Like,
So you're saying like women in authority just kind of make men disagreeable by default sometimes?
well, not does make them disagreeable. They
Okay.
just, if you object to anything they say, they try and shame the man for objecting to their.
Oh yeah, because a lot of what they like, or let's even say, they want something done or whatever. So they'll like,
Mhm.
Can you take out the trash? Let's do basic, right?
Mhm.
And take out the trash, and then the guy says, as soon as I'm done with this campaign, I'm playing my game, whatever.
Okay.
And
Oh yeah.
woman
Family.
freaks the fuck out because she wasn't really asking; she
Yeah.
was demanding.
Yeah. Have you
And
seen this? Have you seen this one? A female manager in like a restaurant or whatever, and they have male, um, what are they called? Bus boys.
Yeah.
Says to the bus boy, "Hey, I know that it's normal for us to do whatever. Have you hang out in a corner to wait, watch for tables to be bussed so we can, during the rush so we can get those out. I know it's normal for you to do that, but I just don't think it's the right look. I think it's affecting our image. So I want you to stay in the back until you're called."
oh my god,
And the busboy says, "Yeah, we tried that. And what happens is that the servers are so focused on their customers and making good tips that they forget to come get us and let us know that we need to come out. And then they get angry because nobody's bussing their tables."
that makes sense.
Well, you just don't like my idea. You know it'll work, but you just don't like my idea. No, we've
Yeah.
really tried that before and it really didn't work.
Mhm.
No, you're just stupid. You just don't understand. This is going to work great. Go to the back. And the guy does it. And later, obviously, it fails because that's how that works. And rather than, saying, "Hey, man, you know what? I was wrong about that," they will somehow make it
Their
about,
fault.
about the busboy.
Uh-huh.
And I'm using that as like, that's the only example I can think of off the cuff, right?
Uh-huh.
But it's something that, and I was actually going to relate it to like business or office stuff, but that hits a little too close to home.
Isn't there something called like past practice law where like if your best practice in the past was like the best practice that, the company ran by, and then
Mhm.
all of a sudden like you get fired for whatever reason, but it was like a rule, but it went against your best practices that were, streamlined for years and years, then actually when you go to arbitration, you have an appeal to past practice.
I could see that, and I could see that in Illinois for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Oh, you
it's
went
an
blurry.
interesting thing. I do believe women can lead. I just don't think they have. I think that there's very specific circumstances where they can lead, right? And to be honest with you, I don't think most women can. Have I seen the new progressive commercials where they rotate in men to do a simple job while a woman stands by and directs them? Totally disgusting. No, I have not seen that. So, oh, my camera freaked out.
Yeah, your autofocus is
Yeah, it's
bugging on you.
it loses track. For some reason, it defaults to tracking my eyes, and then of course when I wear my glasses and the glare hit goes wonky, it loses my eyes and doesn't it doesn't can't see them. So, and then it finds them again, and then it's fine. But
Lovely.
whatever, and it defaults to that. And I need to. The solution so far has been just to never turn the camera off, or every time I turn it on, remember to reset it. And so the actual method that actually works is I don't turn it off, because I get busy and I forget to set it. And I actually have manual focus lenses that I use as well. So anyway, enough about camera stuff. Angry Casper. Let's go. Let's get into it. What'd you come up to say, my friend?
Just can women lead? Do you know the favorite meme, like the chicks start more wars than men do?
I didn't. I heard meme, and then
Okay. I don't know. Then maybe Streamlabs doesn't like my microphone.
No, we hear
the
you now.
whole. Okay.
I can turn you up a little bit. There you go.
I'm good. I think it started like even mainstream on Bill's show, like how in Europe they compared the queens to kings and found the queens were more likely to start wars.
Go to war, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but it's a little bit dirty.
Less.
Well, it's a little bit dirty though, because like when a queen became like, how can I put this? A kingdom that had a queen as its ruler was deemed weaker, so it was more likely to be attacked. So it is a little bit dirty as well. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, the queen's on the thing. So like, I don't trust it that too much. But like, I don't know. I go back to what Andrew said, which is like, last whatever podcast, he kind of brought this up, okay? And he was talking about like, should chicks. Like, what is duty? Like, if men have duty to go to war, do women have duty to give birth? And I don't know. Did you see that video I sent you? I don't know if you watched it.
You sent me?
Yeah, like it's a shit fucking content. Like, you know, it's like a reactor thing.
Oh, I tried to watch that.
At the end of it, though, there was a real gem, like from China. But I wanted to talk to you about it. But if you haven't seen it, then it's kind of.
Yeah, I could not make it through that. I apologize.
Okay, that's okay. So at the end of it, I don't know if it's real or not. So, but whatever. They said, I think it's in China, their conservative party leaders, because of their birth crisis, said that chicks should, and I quote the video, okay? No one in the chat shoot me. That chicks should lose a license to marry after the age of 25, and if they haven't had kids by 30, get how can I put this, tubes tied, I guess, but he said it in a much more colorful way. He had to apologize for that too, by the way.
No, China actually has a word for that, for women who haven't married by the time they're 30.
Shen Yu. They have a whole bunch of them, but Shen Yu, leftover.
Yeah. Leftover.
But it goes after, and then it goes into like bristleback. Like, they have a whole tier system. It's You think fucking Western men are misogynist? You should like look at them.
That's true.
Anyway,
OPC Don, I actually did not reach out to Jake. I have been busy all week with other things, and I just did not reach out to him. I will reach out to him probably this weekend. If you'd like to reach out to him on my behalf, you know, as long as you don't say anything stupid, feel free. You know, and be cool. Cheryl, hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. What did you think about the first part of the show?
Which part?
Talking about how women or girls are told to be girl bosses and they don't need no man from a very young age, and boys are taught that all the manly things are too aggressive, too masculine, too much. Just it's too much, and they need to dial down.
I honestly think it's a load of crap.
Think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's funny that you're covering this because I'm divorced and I actually am dealing with stuff with my kids and my ex-husband. He's allowing that, and I don't think that it's right.
He's allowing what?
Allowing my daughter to think that being a boss bitch, quote unquote, is okay. And
Really?
my son to kind of be what I would say is a wimp.
Really?
Yes. And
Mm.
I'm the complete opposite. I think a man or a male should be a protector, should be the strong one, and a female should basically submit to her man.
Are you in the South?
No. Well,
Okay.
technically, I'm in Oklahoma.
Did your ex-husband have a close relationship with his father?
No.
I figured as much.
Yeah. Either did I. But
do you have a close relationship with yours?
No.
Okay.
So hold on. Let me just make sure I understand what you're saying. Your ex-husband.
Mm.
How long have you been divorced?
3 years, and I was with him for 13 years.
13 years. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So has he always been this way?
Yes and no. He's kind of been a pushover. However, he was kind of masculine. He was in the military. He had somewhat of masculine traits, and over time he just got worse and worse. And I think it's honestly social media. It's what people think men should be nowadays is what he's formed to.
Okay. So you would hypothesize then that he's trying to fit in with the modern world more than he is trying to stand on his morals or principles.
Correct.
You guys religious at all?
Is he religious? He was brought up Catholic.
Well, Imperius will have a lot to say about that if and when he shows up. That will be great.
Just so you know, I will. I am limited on time.
Okay,
but
that's okay. Well, hopefully you'll be gone because Imperius can be a little brusque. Are you familiar with Imperius?
I've seen him. Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, then it won't be a total shock.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. Huh. So I used to have this theory because I had some friends of mine who, after they got divorced, became they went into this like pleaser mode. Like everything they did was to try and please whoever was around them because I guess they felt like they fucked up so bad or something like that.
Yeah, that's a common thing I've noticed as well.
Yeah.
Because that's what my ex-husband does is he'd what I like to say is he'd rather be my children's friend rather than be their father.
Okay.
And it's screwing the kids up whenever you do that. You're supposed to be their parent. Sure.
Can I ask you a question? Like, by the way, how can I put this? It's never Mellis, okay? I don't have Mellis. I'm Glenn Spurg, if you know who he is, okay? So I'm like Imperius combined with Anson, but kinda, and more crazy and with an accent, okay? But I'm curious about this. Like, was he the disciplinarian, like, while you were married? Because it's like, after you divorce, he's probably, yeah, okay. Because what I've found, that's fair. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. But what I've seen with the marriages that have fallen apart in my anecdotal was that quite often the father was the disciplinarian while they were married, but once they divorced, because they don't see the kids hardly ever, they would how can I put this? Try to compensate and make it a Christmas every time they're with their kids, because it was like once every second. It was like a whole.
He has
Okay, go ahead.
primary custody of the kids, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he lives in California, sadly.
Ah, there we go. There we
I live in
go.
Oklahoma.
There we go. I was
So,
now. All right, now I got it. I got it.
but he grew up with all females. Like his dad was.
I was a little twisted around the axle. I was like, Oklahoma guy. I mean, maybe.
No,
maybe he goes that way, but
So
now
I'm actually
okay,
from
so he lives
California
in
myself.
California. Let me hold on. Let me guess. San Francisco.
Him, yes.
All I'm gonna say is I win. No, you know what? I understand. You know, I if you had led with that, I could have predicted all of that. When I was out in California, the whole reason that we left California is because of how fucked up the schools are and how fucked up they were making my son. And
Yes.
and I was like, I told my wife, I'm like, I'm going to retire. I'm going to quit because I was traveling a lot with my career, what I was doing. And I'm like, I'm going to retire and we're going to base out of Tennessee, because there's just no way that I can put up with this. I can't watch my kids turn into idiots. At that time, I only had one, but we moved back to Tennessee and he's been way better ever since, but he was becoming an idiot.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is like when my kids are here and in my care, they don't act up. They don't act like degens.
Mm-hmm.
But when
that's because Mama busts that butt. Mama wear them out. I'll
do it in public if I have to.
See, I called it. Could just tell. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, no, that's what's up.
So, who was leading in your? God, I don't like talking about people, but if I was to guess, I'd say you were probably the leader in your relationship. If you're the disciplinarian on top, would there be like a fair assumption or no?
Yes.
Yeah,
honestly. And I think that was one of the downfalls of our marriage, was the fact that I had to lead everything. And then on top of that, I noticed towards the end of the marriage, I will say he was a lot more feminine, and I had to be more masculine to discipline the kids, the animals, and it wore me down. And it actually does cause depression in women when they can't be in their natural roles.
Yeah.
So this is I'm gonna sound a little bit mean, not to you, but it's like it kind of does prove against your grid, because it's like the woman wants the man to lead, and the man wants to lead the woman.
Yeah, but
okay?
she's not in school right now. She's not currently in school right now. She's not. She's not 8 years old.
No, I was talking about how you were saying the woman can lead. It's like
women
I said
can
this
lead. Women can
they
lead
don't
some things. They can't lead. They cannot lead in a home. I said that straight out of the gate.
Same, but it's like
I agree.
It's
women
not optimal.
Can lead, but they can't lead a home.
Yeah, it's just not optimal. Like, and men don't have a problem. Like, if a chick wants to pay 50-50 on a date, I've said this on Glenn's, I don't care. You want to do 50-50, we can do 50-50. Like,
yeah, but that's
work for me. I don't mind doing 100 though.
Yeah,
like I'm all good either way. Like, but everyone wants to pretend like and have fucking these gloves on. Like, let's pretend that we're equal. It's like, no, just pick a lane, because this is clearly hasn't worked for the last 60 odd years and it's getting bad, because even you're getting blackpilled. I still hate you though. Don't
No,
worry.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not black pill, bro. But
Oh yeah, you are. This
I'm
is a black pill subject. Is
I've
hell.
always been a realist, right? Like I just see
Yeah.
things just the way it is. You know, there's no I don't see doom and gloom, and I don't see, you know, rose-colored
Either.
skies either. But and I could tell you, you know, I always, you know, it was easy to see what was coming because when Cheryl came up, you could hear in her voice that she speaks clearly. There's no hesitation. She corrected me right out of the gate, in a polite way. You know, those things are indicators. I could tell all right away. Either her husband was a very strong man and could contain that and direct it, or he was a pussy. So one of the two. There's only two choices. You only get two choices.
Here's if you want to like spin the conversation somewhere else. Okay, you can talk to me like Glenn does, like if it's not relevant. But as a non-parent, I don't want to overstep the bounds. Okay, but it goes back to what you were talking about in schools and how the kids are getting raised and what they're seeing. And this goes back to like watching TV. Like it's a pretty broad topic, but to keep it narrow, it's like, are we raising our boys to be husbands, and are we raising our daughters to be wives? Because at the moment,
and that's
all the conversation is concentrating on men not being good enough, while we're not giving them the tools to be good enough. And this can go into economy or wherever. So you can take it wherever you want. But like,
yeah, that's kind of my real point, is that we're raising young girls to be more masculine, and yet we're not raising young boys to be more masculine. So you can't have it both ways unless you want to destroy the family, right? I mean, if you want to destroy the nuclear family, if you want to destroy life as we know it, then that's how you do that. If you want to create good, strong families, it's the exact opposite, right? Now, I'm not saying that women can't be strong. Cheryl's obviously a strong woman. Michelle is a strong woman, but I'm sure they're both very feminine and prefer men to lead. And, you know, for myself, and just speaking strictly for myself, like when I was younger, I have such a strong personality that I learned very quickly that weak women were the bane of my existence. They couldn't take my personality being so strong or overpowering. And so I knew right out of the gate, well, after a few relationships, kind of out of the gate, that I had to have a strong, motivated, woman, and assertive to a degree, or I would just run her over, wouldn't respect her, wouldn't care anything about her opinions, any of that. And so my wife is all of those things, right? But she's still very feminine. And these things are not mutually exclusive. But you can't have a woman who believes that she doesn't need a man, and her whole mission in life is to get her bag and get set up and maybe one day have kids. You can't have a woman that thinks that and have a productive society. You need to have a woman that thinks, I need to find a great man and have children and have a great life, whatever that means. If it means I have to work, I work. If it means I get to stay home, I get to stay home.
I agree, because I was a stay-at-home mom for 13 years and had kids, realized that my ex-husband was a pansy, and now I'm with a man that pretty much is the complete opposite of my ex-husband. He makes me submit. If he tells me something that is not okay, I don't do it. But if he's like, go ahead and do it, I'll rock it to the core. But honestly, a woman needs a strong man to be able to survive and keep going in her role, because then we get these women that think they're boss ass bitches, And once they get to their 30, 40 years old, they're like, oh shit, I should have a husband. I should have kids. By that time, most of your eggs are dried up.
Right. And we talk about that a lot. And I don't think that people really get it. But they should. I've now heard from tons of people about how you can have your eggs frozen and all of this stuff, and it's fine. You don't have to worry about it. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
If you
I
think
don't know.
about
It's still that's
how many
just-
problems can that cause? We don't
Sure.
have the studies to see what kind of
Mhm.
issues freezing our eggs and then unfreezing them, putting them back in your body or in someone else's body, what it
Mhm.
actually does genetically, whether to that child or down the road. We don't have those studies.
Do you
Yeah.
want another one, Greg? There's case in it's a TikTok, okay? And this chick she froze her eggs and fertilized with the partner she had at the time. And then when they split up, he, because it's half his, had the eggs destroyed, and she can never have kids again.
Wow, that's
It's
Yes,
just kind of TikTok anyway.
that's
they
kind of
both
crazy.
signed
I got to
a
be honest. That
contract saying
one's
that they
that's
both
out
own
there,
it.
man.
I can take it out for you if you want. It'll take me a
No,
minute.
that's okay. I'll take your word on it. So what do you think, Cheryl? Did you hear the comments or the way I expressed how women are being taught to look at the way men earn a living and the disdain that is shown for honest work these days?
I'm gonna
I
just
think
as
I
a
was a
resident.
little
Sorry.
busy during.
I'm sorry.
I think I was a little busy when
Oh,
we were
okay.
having that conversation.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example and it'll lead into the same question. Okay, Greg? Is that good?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, so there was this example, and it was that black presenter, and she was like a 40-year-old something, whatever, and it went like viral on Minnesota. And she was saying like how she would never hook up with a bus driver. That might trigger a memory, and she's like 40-something years old. And then there was a massive pushback against it because she didn't have any kids, and now she got a donor, and she has a daughter, and she's like 41. But it's like the same principle because she literally was preaching about like, oh, men are not eligible. There's another example, and it's like everyone kind of must have seen it, and it was that black. It's got nothing to do with it. It was like black dude, white chick, black chick. Okay, one of those panels. And she was talking about how there isn't enough economically viable men. And then the other guy calls her out and goes, what do you mean you're dating down? Like when men were paying for everything, it was all good. But now when you're making your own money, you're dating down. It's the same question.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing when we start talking about the amount of money men versus women make. Mr. Mister brings out a great point. Everything they lie about is under the guise of equality, democracy rules, progressive, which has nothing to do with masculinity. It's equality, but it's not actually equality, as we all know. Good point. I like that. Believe Michelle dropped off. She's probably, I don't know what she's doing.
She'll be right back.
So Cheryl, the point that I was making is that it seems like women today, young girls, not women, tend to feel shame about men's jobs. And I use the example actually of how I know when I was in Denver, they had a lot of people who worked in the oil fields in northern Denver, southern and northern Wyoming, and up into the Dakotas. And those guys made serious bank, like tons of money. And it's hard work. It's dirty work. They're gone for, I think the way that most of those people worked was like a 3-month contract, and they'd be up there for 3 months. They'd be off for a month, and then they go back up for 3 months. And, and it's, in the winter, it's just miserable, and all of that. So, these guys are making $100,000-$200,000 a year. And, and I actually knew women when I was in Denver that, I knew a couple of women who dated guys that worked in the oil fields, but lied about what they did. I forget what they said they did, but it was something more corporate or something like that. And like they were ashamed the guy didn't wear a suit every day, right? And I think that's an interesting thing, because I would, there's something inherently masculine about doing a job that could kill you, right? Like that's
I agree.
that's
I'm the type of woman, I'd rather have a guy that has a physical job, like that's physically demanding,
yeah.
okay, than a guy that is going to sit at a desk for 9-10 hours a day, 5 days a week. Because those jobs, they're the suicide, or sorry, the unalive rate. I don't know if that's okay, but the rate of that is so high compared to guys that go out and most of those guys work 10 plus hours a day, and they're out doing physical labor and actually not being depressed because they're doing something that is biologically natural to them.
That's half truth. Like, sorry, Cheryl. Like, that's like one of my how can I put this? Black pills that I've delved deep into. Kids not being outside is definitely the problem, but like, it's not just the jobs that the men are working. Like, I'll give you another example. Okay, I'll give you a different take on this whole situation just for fun. What Grid was mentioning about how these jobs are not seen as viable. If we go back 200 years, or let's go back to 1980s, a lot of these men who were doing these jobs had families, and that like other women would see these men having families, so they wouldn't feel like they settled down. But since everyone started staring online with Facebook and shit like that, and Instagram, and like the whole looking at what the next door's doing, it's those men, and like it multiplies the problem, if that makes sense. So the men are not retreating to these jobs, because like back in the day there were still Wall Street workers, there were still people doing menial jobs, there were like indoors, there were people working in mines and shit. So it's not that, like, how can I put this? It's just hypergamy on steroids, if we're being honest. Like, but that's just an angle on it. Like, Grid, remember how when you said like other people worked it out? There's so much more to it. Like, to me, I think the biggest problem started in the 60s with the liberation of like female sexuality, and then it just multiplies the problem because it divides.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you're going a little too. I think you're too far in the weeds. I think it's this.
Well, it's not as simple. What I was saying is, Grid, like, if we're going to talk about male Minecrafting, is the TOS, okay? Like, you can't approach that without putting on some like heavy duty gloves. It's the same thing like if I was to start speaking about SA. It's like, what the hell do I know? But anyway, keep going. I'm being imperious, okay? I'm covering him.
Yeah, no,
okay?
You're fine. You're fine. Imperious is out there. I'm surprised he hasn't come up yet.
No, I owe him a couple.
So I think I think you're kind of in the weeds here. I think it really boils down to, it's as simple as, first of all, women don't simple physical jobs seem beneath women, right? Like, they don't understand it, because they would never do it. And so they have more respect for jobs that they understand, unless and I love the fact that somebody brought up the crab fishing thing. When they made a TV show about the gold miners and the crab fishermen and all of these things, all these hard masculine jobs, all of a sudden there's all these women all over the world that wanted to date those kind of dudes, right?
That's because
Because
most
they
of
were
those women realized how much they were making. They weren't caring about
right.
the job, but they were caring about the money that
Yeah.
they were getting.
Yeah. And there was some, there was some excitement pictured in the job, right? So they made it seem exciting when it's still, yeah, okay, there's 3 minutes, it took them 6 months of filming to get those 3 minutes of excitement, but most of the time it's just really boring and smelly and
Oh
muddy and
yeah.
messy and all.
One of my best friend's husband does fishing in
Mm,
California. And I've seen some of the videos, and when I lived in California, in my early 20s,
mhm.
I would hang out, and days after he'd come back, he still reeks like fish. She still
Sure.
loves
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. So I think unless it's romanticized, it went it most women now really don't understand physical work. If somebody, all right, so the typical 20-year-old girl, college student, probably because they all go to college now. If
I
a
didn't.
farmer walked up to her, a 21-year-old, 22-year-old farmer walked up and said, "Hey, I'd like to take you out," and they're having dinner or they're out for coffee or whatever. "Hey, what do you do?" "Well, I'm a farmer. We farm corn and wheat and soybeans in the off season." The girl would probably that'd be like a black mark in her book, in her little mental book, that
Nowadays, yeah.
this and yet this guy's probably making $100,000 a year. He has to own a couple of $1 million in equipment to be a farmer, right? The reality of what the job is has no bearing on what people think about that job. Meanwhile, a guy who says, "Well, I'm a writer, I'm a painter, and I've sold my work, I'm published," and to that seems very exciting, I think, to a lot of women, and yet they don't have $2 in their back pocket, right? They're going to actually have to borrow money to pay the tab. So I find it very interesting, especially now. I think that it's kind of been heading that direction because we're further and further removed from what reality is, as far as what farmers are, what ranchers are, what fishermen, commercial fishermen do, what roughnecks do. We're further and further removed from that, but it's that doesn't make the jobs pay any less. It's people that went to sea always made money. People that have dug in the ground for oil or gold or silver or iron or whatever it is, they've always made money. So I don't know. It's just an interesting thing that our modern society downplays and sort of ostracizes a lot of what men do as menial, not worth doing, that kind of thing. So I don't know. I don't know. You don't seem like you are someone that does that. So that it's hard. It would have been a little better if we had a female that was like, no, those jobs suck. I would never date somebody like that. But unfortunately, most of my, honestly, most of my chat's pretty base. So wouldn't
I mean, I
expect that.
can't really say much about jobs when it comes to
Yeah.
like having a job that most people would turn up, because I work at Taco Bell. I'm a
Yeah.
manager at Taco Bell, so most people are like, "Ew, Taco Bell," blah blah blah. It's like,
So it's an interesting thing. I had a friend of mine, and when I was in college, I was like, was probably 20 at the time. And I had this friend of mine, and we were both assistant managers for a movie theater company. And when he was older than me, he was probably 25. He'd been married. I think he had a kid, and he was a serial entrepreneur. Like, he was always starting some little business, some kind of thing. I had to have driven his wife crazy because he wasn't actually that good at it. And stand by one second. John Mosman, good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. And while I'm taking this break, my buddy K2 Keep On Trucking sends in Grid 1 semi trucks don't have airbags, so I'll die like a real man if that happens.
No, you're just gonna drive through whatever got in front of you.
Yeah,
okay?
I actually have some. I've seen some really bad truck accidents lately, so be
Oh,
safe
yeah.
out there, my brother.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
my
kidding. Drive
brother's
safe,
a trucker.
man. I pray for drivers.
Yeah. So anyway, my buddy's fallback job was always to go work at Taco Bell because he could always get a job, he could always get the hours he wanted, and he could always and he liked the food, so it's a win-win for him all the way around, right? He could make enough money to pay his bills and pick up all the hours he needed, and it was, he was like, yeah, it's a good place to go work. Because I was actually laughing at him, like, Taco Bell, really? It just seems really weird for a guy your age to work at, like, people are like 18 work at Taco Bell and all that. And he's like, yeah, a lot of them do, but it was really funny.
I actually recently got a job application in for our store for a guy in his 60s.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, and I was
I
like,
wonder if it's a guy. I wonder if it's my buddy, because he's older than me and I'm 53, so it could be him. You never know. So
we have employees. I think I'm the oldest one there.
Sure. I can
Other
see
than
that.
the people that are above me. Other than that, I think the lowest we have is 16, which is the lowest Taco Bell will allow.
It's interesting because I've noticed that in fast food, the turnover in employees has been just really terrible, and it's got to be interesting listening to some of the people, because I've actually gone into because I don't eat a lot of fast food, but I have lately gone into a couple of different establishments, and it seems like the people were just not trained, didn't care.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or whatever. Like it just, they didn't even care if they got fired, whatever. They just this here.
But sorry, Cheryl, I lag in New Zealand, so sometimes I have to interrupt. It sucks. Speed of light. Okay.
He's under the bottom. He's at the bottom of the world at the land it doesn't exist.
I'm at the bottom of the world, so like I'll say something and it's like 2 seconds behind. But just to give you a different perspective, in New Zealand, it's literally the same. Last time I went through a drive-through, the guy was like, "What do you want?" And it just kind of stunned me, because I had this job in customer service, whatever, growing up. Okay, I worked in a supermarket checkouts, so I was trained how to greet and how to try to make it a pleasant experience, if somewhat.
Sure, yeah.
Sterile. But the dude was like, "What do you want?"
Yeah,
McDonald's. What do you want? I just wanted to. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. See, sometimes, by the way, Cheryl, let me tell you, sometimes I'll make a pause and you'll start to speak, but I'll keep going because I didn't even hear your interruption. This isn't just that, since we're all going to be communicating from all over the world, you're going to run into this, yeah, but I'm the worst case scenario, okay? It doesn't get worse than New Zealand. It might, but there's 3 people in places that it's worse.
Oh, it's been so terrible with fast food, and it's like the fast food work. So it used to be my experience with fast food workers, 10, 15 years ago, whatever, maybe 20 years ago, I don't know, but was, they were relatively eager. They were trying to keep their jobs because there were plenty of people to replace them, and most of them had seen a couple of people get fired already, so they were ready. They were properly motivated, and then it's changed to where they just don't care. Like the managers are asking them to do things, and you can just visibly see the employees roll their eyes and be like, "Fine, I guess I'll do it." But it's terrible now. It's crazy. So
It's funny that you say that because at our store, the managers that were there prior to me going there, mind you, I'm an assistant manager there. I have one person or two people ahead of me. And we actually have an issue with trying to get people to do their job right because they're so used to how they were trained prior to us coming there and trying to fix things up. And they're like, "Oh, I don't have to listen to you." Okay, if you don't want to listen to me, you could go home. And I've had people go home just because they don't want to do their job properly. I ran the store by myself, and I don't have an issue with it. But yeah, people need to understand that fast food, it's not as easy as it seems, but it's not as hard as people make it out to be either.
it just seems like the current. Again, this kind of goes back to my initial point, man. Girls are taught that they don't need that. Somebody's going to provide for them. So they're gonna go get their bag. They can't work at Taco Bell. They got to work at in the mall, or I guess not the mall anymore. I don't know. I'm out of date, man. You guys, I'm old. Huh?
A lot of girls nowadays want to work at Sephora. One, because you got to deal with makeup, and two, you get a big
Sephora
discount. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they want to work in the makeup store. They want to work at the beauty counter at Dillard's or something like that. They don't want to have a real. They don't. What they absolutely do not want is a real job, even though they just spent $100,000 to go to college and get a degree. And
honestly, I don't think it's just girls. I think it's
I was about to say dudes are just lazy as fuck anyway.
Yeah, we actually had a guy just quit because of that.
Yeah, dudes are not seeing the carrot. That's the other part of the equation, by the way, Greg. It's like it's a meme, okay? It's like if you don't get no land, no girlfriend, no job, no problem, and then no care. That's what they say. Like it's a little bit better than that, I just get pushback, so it's a good show, okay? Like a motto, okay?
Yeah. Well, look, it's I think what we're really kind of talking about here with the dudes is that they're just so lazy because first of all, they're not motivated to make any money anyway.
Yeah,
no,
that's the biggest.
They're not motivated to.
Money doesn't get you what it used to.
Like they're not really motivated to do anything because their parents buy them everything, or they just don't even care. All they need is their computer and an internet connection. They don't need anything else. Like maybe some food once in a while. And I don't know, man. I think it's bad because it just seems like it's really hard to hire people to work these days.
Now it's hard to hire good workers.
Yeah,
people
okay, I'll go with
common
that.
sense. Like they say it. Oh, it's common sense. Well, nowadays it ain't that common.
Yeah, common sense hadn't been common for a long time. That's true.
Right?
That's true, for sure. And again, it's so I actually knew a guy who worked for McDonald's. He was a manager for McDonald's for years, and he did what was that? He did the thing where he became an owner. He became a store owner.
Okay.
And he after about, I don't know how long. I guess you had to work there and be a manager to be able to own a McDonald's, and he did that. I think he owns like 3 or 4 McDonald's in this area now. He does pretty well for himself. But he apparently really worked, and the entire time, man, thinking that guy works at McDonald's, man. What's the deal with that? Like, it just doesn't seem like an actual career path, you know. But now he owns McDonald's, you know, billions and billions served, as they say. Very interesting.
I mean, my district manager, he's been working for Taco Bell for over 25 years. So,
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
John Deadman, I don't know if we still have a J.C. Penney's here. I think we do. As a matter of fact, I know we do because we were just there a couple of weeks ago because my wife needed something that they had on special or something.
Yeah, JCPenney's still around, but they got like massively, shrunk down.
Yeah.
Carson Peary Scott, Macy's, man, they just didn't make it.
Yeah.
Sears, they're gone.
Yeah, that's true. Tara Finley, the relationship expectations of a guy versus a woman explains why men have become unmotivated. They feel like they can't win. I mean, you're not wrong, but I don't like that defeatist attitude, mister. You're gonna have to pick yourself up by your bootstraps and move on. I mean, there's actually just a lot. And these are all topics that, I mean, since we're going to have a cascade effect, so a lot of things we're going to talk about over the next couple of weeks is like, we have this idea that the relationship ideals in this country right now are terrible. They're just terrible.
I got to ask a question. Okay. I'm curious,
Sure.
Cheryl. For Cheryl, how can I put this? If I overstep, just tell me I don't want to talk about it, okay? But I'm curious, for your husband, like, and tell me if I'm overstepping. Like, was his mom a feminist? Was his mom bossy? Like, was he given the liberty to be independent growing up?
No.
But by the way, it's kind of another thing. Like, I don't want to, because we're talking about somebody who's not on the panel. So I'm kind of like, I don't like doing that, but fuck it. I'm curious. Like, you can use yourself as an example, but you can just pretend that it's somebody else for pretending's sake. Like, have you seen that? Because I've kind of noticed that, like, and it goes same for girls, okay? Because there's this whole fucking spoiled princess syndrome, and it pisses me off, which is the whole, raising wives. And on the other hand, there's this whole, like, little prince syndrome, and it's way worse in, like, China than it is in the Western cultures. Like, the little, like, like they have a word for it. They have a word for Shen Yu. They have a word for spoiled little prince. And that dude's, like, kind of sounded like what you're portraying your husband as. I'm muting. X, sorry. Fuck.
So his mom, I guess she coddled him a lot.
Yeah.
And everything. She's Filipino, or they are Filipino.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so the way they look at it is the firstborn is like the king of the castle or the queen of the castle. They're the boss. So they coddle their firstborn. And because, like, he was adopted, we were both adopted by family members. And, like, he was the firstborn child. And I noticed that they do that because they sat there and they made a savings account for our daughter, but didn't do it for our son. They left my daughter with a house and a goodness, my brain's blanking on what it's called. Where she after she gets to a certain age, she gets, yeah. Thank you. And
trust fund in America. I'm OCD. Keep going.
Yeah, and my son doesn't have anything. So I don't know if it's a Filipino thing or if it's a family thing, but they definitely like to favor the firstborn, and because he was the only adopted child and also his first or the firstborn in his family, they coddled him, they let him do what he wanted, and he never had a male role model. It was his family.
That's
So
interesting.
That's some
yeah,
patriarchy shit right there.
yeah.
For them, it's firstborns. It's like it goes in Europe. We have like a saying: marry your daughters off when you can, and your sons when you want. But that world is fucking long gone.
Big Jake striking at the heart of the issue. Only boys should inherit. Girls should be married off to proper families. Also, dowry should exist. So, just to throw that out there. But Big Jake's Ranch, thank you, sir. That's great. That's awesome.
The dowries
Yeah.
really suck for the families who only have girls.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The dowries really suck for the families that only
Yeah.
have girls.
Well, that's
Yeah,
why
That's
you
basically
split it up
Pride and
four ways.
Prejudice right there.
Yeah. It's to split it up however many ways.
Hmm.
That sucks.
No, I'd just if that were to happen with me, well, if had happened with me, I would have just kept trying for a boy.
So, Michelle, I wanted you to come up initially because I wanted to, because I don't you have both girls and boys?
No, I have only boys. I would
Oh, you
not make
only
a
have
good girl mom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wonder who I was thinking I had both. Anyway, it doesn't matter. All right. So have you noticed any of the things I spoke about in the beginning of the show with your boys?
I mean, thankfully, I feel like I delayed social media for my boys long enough to where they actually develop social skills. So they don't like my oldest son, like he's had a couple of girlfriends already. Like he's not being quite bogged down by like the dating atmosphere as a teenager. Like I'm seeing some of the younger men, like in their mid-20s, early to mid-20s, are struggling with.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also like 6'2" and a good-looking kid, so he's got it made for quite a while.
Right.
Yeah.
Can't beat
So
good genes.
you really can't. I gotta say I did pretty well with that one.
So, and I'm going to do a whole show on this, but we'll touch on it tonight because this is worthwhile,
Mhm.
and we got almost an hour to get to touch on it. So, Michigan Christian comes in is what amazes him most is that a properly raised woman who is modest and attractive can have basically any man she wants, and the opposite ends up being a washed up 304 cat lady.
Well, that's because all the older women in her life gave her bad advice, and she doesn't want a good man, nor does she know how to treat one.
Yeah,
I agree.
So have you guys it's going to seem really bad faith on my part, but I honestly don't care. So I've been watching, unfortunately, for some reason, I get on my Facebook, it probably has something to do with my wife, but I get a lot of Chinese and Korean girl stuff. Usually fashion. Because my wife shops continuously. Basically, we actually, I have the activity as far as I'm concerned is called pursing. And it's instead of shopping, she's just looking at bags and coats and accessories and all of that. And then she talks to me about it, and my intelligent phone picks up on that. And the next thing I know, I'm getting all this weird stuff in languages I don't understand.
Yeah, my husband and my boyfriend both get bird content now.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, so anyway. So I had not normally. I don't care. I just because I I don't pay much attention to it, but I noticed that, and because I talk about, my phone is sitting around the desk while I'm talking about a bunch of whores and sluts and all of that, I get this very strange dichotomy.
The algorithm doesn't know what you fucking want.
Of absolute, just, slutty ass American girls, which is basically all of them. And on the other side of it, I'm getting these amazingly attractive Korean and Chinese girls. And the Korean and Chinese girls are fully clothed. They don't show any skin. And they're like way more attractive than
Can I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead. Sure.
Then you keep going. Just to give a Western, I have a really good example. So like AI, there's this thing called Dignified, and basically what it does, it takes like these drop dead gorgeous e-thoughts that are showing way too much skin, removes all their tattoos, removes all their jewelry, and puts them like in a nice elegant dress. So it has like a before and after. So what you're seeing over there, like we actually have something very similar, like kind of a counter, like it's the same fucking problem, but we have like a different manifestation of it. But keep cooking. I like this.
So there's this one girl that keeps popping up, and there's this dance. I guess it's a TikTok thing. It's called Pika Piku or Pekka, whatever.
Oh my god! Yeah, I can't.
It's the same girl, I think, in everyone. It's and some cheerleading team. And I have to admit that she is so girl next door that she's smoking hot. Like, it's ridiculous. And I was showing my son the other day. My son's like, look at my phone for something else. And he's like, who is this? And I'm like, I don't know. It's this thing comes up all the time. He said, oh yeah, I watch that too. And I'm like, okay, what do you think? And he's like, oh yeah, it was like way better. I'm like, okay. But they're not like showing every inch of skin. They don't have their boobs hanging out. It's crazy, the dichotomy, right? It's like, it's so interesting. And I just don't understand. We have this like really crazy society where women apparently believe that unless they're showing literally every inch of skin that they possibly can, they're not hot. TR Finley, I agree. A woman in a sundress.
Need to correct them.
I'm sorry, Cheryl. What was that?
Their fathers need to correct them.
Yes.
Can I jump in? This is a problem, though. I disagree.
Hold on. I agree with TR Finley here. A woman in a sundress with no makeup looks so much better than most women who get made up for going to the club. That is facts. There's something about a good sundress. It's great. But Michelle's being awfully quiet for some reason.
I was letting everybody else talk.
Sorry?
I am going to head out, by the way.
Okay,
you
Cheryl.
guys have a great night.
Glad
great
you
to have
dropped in, and you're welcome back anytime. So, great. Awesome. Cheryl was a lot of fun. Guys, give it up for Cheryl in the chat. And then there was...
Can I give you my pushback?
Yeah, go ahead.
We touched on this a little bit, like on another panel. I think the Czechs needed to like be policing a lot of the things in society that's not being policed anymore, and that's one of them. Like, I think it's mothers and grandmothers' responsibility to make sure that the daughter becomes a grandmother. Like, that's not really something like father makes sure that she's not damaged or that the son is not a criminal. But I think the woman's job was like, that's kind of the whole woman drives society and men drive technology bullshit argument. But if you're going to be doing specials on this, like, yeah, keep that in mind too. I don't know. It's just a take. So it's not that men are not responsible for what the fuck is going on. They are. But maybe they're meant to be enforcing this behavior, but the behavior of how the girls should behave should be really coming from the matriarchs.
Well, I mean,
Like, men have too much shit to do, bro. Anyway,
I think that women in America believe that they have to look a certain way based on something, and in other countries, it's vastly different. And it used to be that you only, it's like, well, that's just like a California thing or a New York thing or whatever. Usually we could blame it on Florida and California usually. But now, like, even in my hometown, you will see girls walking around in like really stupidly slutty clothes. And I'm like, what are you doing? What message are you hoping to send? So, I don't know. It's an interesting thing. To me, it's interesting. It's academically interesting because what does it really say about you if you're going around dressing like you're on sale all the time?
I got a lot of like, not shame, but a lot of feedback because I wasn't ever really one of the girls to dress up like that. I was never really comfortable showing a lot of skin. But I also grew up in church and stuff like that. So I was very mindful of like, covering up and taught that. But as I got older and I even like, kind of disconnected from the church, I get a lot of feedback from men where they were like, you're really attractive, but we can't see you. And it was interesting. And I was always one to kind of like dress in like the baggy oversized clothes. Like I might have looked a little bit frumpy. But like I would wear like my makeup and have my hair would be nice, but like otherwise I lived by like the sweatsuit sort of look, and also became a mom pretty early, so it wasn't super consequential. But I do feel
Anson
like there
makes
is
an appearance.
Hey Anson. I do feel like
Big Ernie McCracken, greatest to ever live.
No, that's imperious. What are you doing, stealing Anson's alter ego?
No way, that was mine. He stole mine yesterday. I was Big Ernie McCracken.
You guys just steal each other's alter egos all the time. So I got to be honest with you, Michigan Christian. Leggings are underwear. Proper leggings are with like under a skirt or something like that. That's fine. But leggings as what you're actually wearing is bad. And yoga pants, they're for the gym, folks. They're not for walking around. So I actually give my wife crap for wearing yoga pants a lot.
They're too damn comfortable. We're not going to give them up. I'm sorry. It's over.
You don't have to give them up, but
we're still going to go to the grocery store and do our errands.
You can cover up a little bit. You can wear a long shirt. You can wear
I do that, yeah.
Skirt over it. You can look like a proper human female.
Greg?
Yeah.
So when you said you were going to like be covering topics over the next couple of weeks, I thought I heard something like, do you want to talk about it? Like, what are you actually going to cover? If this is one of them.
So the thing is that I'm trying to delineate. I feel like I've been because the election was so prevalent. And it was just everything was about the election. So it used to be that the nighttime show was about relationship and social issues and things like, should you wear fucking yoga pants without a skirt, right? Like that and we would talk about these things. And then, the closer the election got, the more that all the shows kind of became the same topics really. And the social stuff, like, like we're talking about tonight, like the in my opinion, the pushing of masculine traits and ideals on young girls, while emasculating young boys into a almost homogenous paste of what resembled humans is horrible. And I think that, we need strong. I feel like we need strongly feminine women, and we need strongly male men. And you can have in between, right? Like some women are going to be a little more masculine than other women, and some women are going to be more feminine than other women, and that's fine. But it shouldn't be because your local school system, your local church, your local boys or girls club or whatever when your children are outside your house, they should not be being told how to be a girl or boy. Do you understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense to you? And that's kind of where I was at tonight. And the reason that I brought that up tonight specifically is because it's just kind of a good place to start. And I think that one of the interesting things that's been going on over the past few weeks in a lot of the creator spaces is a massive red pill versus blue pill versus whatever kind of dichotomy, dichotomy where you're only first of all, it only addresses grown people who are making choices to be one or the other, right? The whole idea of red pill or blue pill is that you choose which direction you want to go. But what I'm talking about is the indoctrination of young boys and young girls into this sort of homogenous society, which confuses everybody. And the tendency is to blame feminism. And I actually believe it's more of a socialist Marxist construct, so that to basically destroy the nuclear family and destroy good relationships between men and women. And because when you have a properly functioning family unit, it's very hard for socialism to take root. And so that's kind of where I'm, that's kind of, and so, Friday night, I would like to have Jake Rattlesnake on. Maybe we'll get him, maybe not. Who knows? There may be somebody else that comes on. Michelle.
No, Australians aren't people. Don't have them on grid.
Well, you're barely people, and yet you're here.
Yeah, but I'm still a person. Australian, they're like, they're half convict. Look at grid. Even the continent itself tries to kill them. Everywhere they go,
literally everything Australia tries to kill you.
Yeah, it tries to kill them because they know these things that even Mother Nature knows. These things should not be here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's what do you think, Imperious? Do you think the problem is feminism in and of itself, or do you think it's also socialism, Marxism?
Honestly, grid, you want my none of this nonsense is anything new. It's been going on throughout history. If you read what the balance and the push and pull between men and women, because we have completely opposite goals. That's what you can't expect them to men and women aren't meant to get along. It's supposed to be an exchange for certain needs. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Everyone puts this whole see we 150 years ago.
Imperious, you've hit on something this is actually a week or two out, but Glenn and I were having this conversation the other night on his channel. And of course, they have all the red pillars there, and they're talking about how, if the key of your marriage is sex or something like that, and that's how basically a bunch of stuff.
Can I jump in? So it's like
no, it's irrelevant stuff because I don't buy it. I don't buy into it, so it's irrelevant. And I made the point then that I believe that your entire relationship is based on sex, you do not have a relationship. What you
I
have,
agree with
what you do.
Yeah,
Is,
yeah. I mean, definitely, you have more of a
Yeah.
just a
yeah,
you know,
you have a whore
a
with a
walking
GSP
sock.
experience.
I mean, yeah, for sure. No, but what I'm saying is like, Grid. I think the problem is we're sitting and talking about it. So like, this is the whole thing, Grid. Like, we
Yeah.
have this like mystical kind of like ideal of what things should be, and this like we got to get away from all this nonsense of fair and how things we
Well,
want it to
nothing's
feel.
fair. I mean,
Yeah,
life is
and I
real.
think that's just that's just the end of it. Look, a woman wants to give up the least amount of sex and get the most amount of money.
Well, I don't.
And
I
men
don't.
want to give up
Yeah,
the
I
least
don't
amount of
agree with
money
that.
and get the most amount of sex.
I
This is
don't agree
general.
with that, but I will say that one of the shows I want to do, and I need a proper guest or maybe two for this show is marriage really based on is a great marriage based on sex and love, or is it based on responsibility and duty?
Responsibility, duty, and necessity. Look at I had this conversation with on
Yeah, he didn't
another
even
show.
hesitate. Did you guys hear that? It was just like, bam.
No, it's not even a question. This love nonsense is a Disney creation. Grid, like my grandparents, I looked at.
I kind
Like
of
my
agree with you on that, Imperious. I mean, I
It
don't think
is.
you're
No, it
wrong
literally
about
is.
that.
There was none of this nonsense before like the 1940s, 50s when Disney started getting big with Snow White and all this nonsense. Grid, my grandfather and grandmother were together for what, 68 years, I think, Grid,
Sure.
65 years, something
Yeah,
like that. Grid.
sounds right. That's how that works.
And it was never, I never saw them all lovey dovey holding. I mean, yeah, they hold hands once in a while,
They
but
respected
they
each
were
other,
never
right?
lovey dovey. Like my grandfather wanted to be out of the house away from my grandma half the time. He played golf 3 days a week until he was like 80 years old. He was
Mhm.
still a consultant for one of his firms he helped for. It's like, it's just, it's silly. Like, and my grandma was always like, I don't want to sit with that old fart all the time. Like, I want to go do my things and stuff, and that's the thing. It's like, yeah, there was a duty and a responsibility, but it wasn't like they were just connected at the hip, like dying together all the time. It's like my grandfather wasn't sitting there doting over her, and she had a
Do you think that's
responsibility.
why? Do you think that's where the true source of familiarity breeds contempt comes from?
Yeah, definitely,
Do
definitely.
you
No,
think
yeah,
that it's not familiarity, but the word has just been mistranslated to mean
yeah.
like
Well, I mean, Grid, you
like
see it online too, like these funny old couples where they're all bickering at each other and
yeah.
stuff. Like that's how it is, Grid. Like when you spend like more than like 80% of your life with some, it's like, yeah, it's just like the other, you just bicker and back and forth. And it's just, yeah, dude. Like, but that's the thing. We
I
have
don't
this
think you're
whole,
wrong. I mean,
I don't think I agree with him so much.
that's okay.
Yeah, like
I don't think he's wrong. I don't 100% agree with him. I think obviously Imperious is the extremist of the extreme.
yeah,
But I don't think he's wrong. And I've always wondered how, because my grandparents, so my grandparents married at 30 after World War II, and my grandfather had actually promised himself that he would not get married until he was 30, and that was partially because the men in his family had a history of having serious health issues in their late 20s, and he honestly thought he was going to die, right, young, and so he wasn't going to marry and leave a widow. Kind of weird for that time period, but that's what he believed and that's what he did. So when he was 30, he married my grandmother. They stayed married until he died when he was, I think he was 78 or 80, and my grandmother passed when she was 104. And
wow, that's great. 104, man.
yeah, 104. Yeah, and she literally, like, she was with us the last Christmas. She was with us. We were talking about, next Christmas, it's 105. It's gonna be great. My youngest son would be 2 then, or yeah, I think it would be 2. And it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great to get these pictures, that he'll have of his great grandmother. And she's like, I'm not gonna make it to 105. And she was right. She's 100% right. She knew. So it was awesome. She's on my and she ate bacon and eggs right up until the day she died. So it was awesome. Truly amazing. But my grandmother and grandfather, I never saw them like hugging or holding hands or kissing or being in any way lovey-dovey, the right word, but they were, as near as I could tell, the most devoted couple you could imagine. My grandmother actually had my grandfather, of course he was cremated after he passed, and she kept that box in her nightstand until she passed, and then she had it in her arms. She was holding him when she was buried.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It is beautiful. It's impressive, and people don't think like that anymore. They don't act like that anymore, and I find that to be distasteful that people don't. I find it really bad. So, what's the difference, right? Well, obviously, church. Both my grandparents were lifelong members of churches, and they were a member of the church that my grandmother and I was a member of for at least 50 years, at least, because they were going there before I was born.
But Greg, do you see yourself as an atheist now, though, right?
I'm sorry?
Do you see yourself as an atheist, agnostic, or religious now?
No, I'm Southern Baptist, brother.
Oh, fuck me. Okay. Oh, okay. You just blew my mind. Why? Okay, I'm sorry. For some fucked up, but that's actually to your credit, because you don't use arguments from the point of religion. And
I never argue from the point of religion. That's
Mad. Cool. Sorry. That's
I can.
The C word pass on your channel.
I can do it, but I'm not qualified to. I'm not qualified to lay out the theology.
Yeah,
so I don't.
Same. I just get out of the way, but that's to your credit. And I was going to use the Australian word pass, but I didn't. Okay. But that's what you would call a med C. Okay.
Yeah, Grid. Again, this to me, a lot of this is just it's people having too much to think about all the time. Like we're just sitting around thinking of these things we shouldn't really be like. Like this is to me a lot of like the red pill always seemed really kind of like funny to me, because to me I always just see the real relationship between men and women. The most true relationship of men and women are like when we were young, where men and women just kind of like made fun of each other. They like each other. They'll hang around, but they make fun of each other. They don't like like each other all the time. Things like that. It's just like when your kids have a lot of honesty. And people forget that, like, we think we grow out of our juvenile tendencies, but we really don't, like, in a lot of things, especially when men and women react. Because if you look at men, they become little kids, like, when they're around women. They don't think really well. They're not who they are. They get all, like, wound up and just, it's you know what I mean? And so I think the real relationship shouldn't be this whole, like, melodramatic nonsense where we're always thinking about each other and analyzing this and women are not anything like super different, unique, like massively perfect, or men have a problem understanding that women are not like these exalted, delicate little beings. I think that's a lot of what it is.
I got a question, okay? Okay, there's two things. Here's a take, okay? This is a funny one. Men fall in love before they have sex, then they have sex, and then they fall out of love. Women have their brain, okay, until they have sex. Once you have sex with them, they fall in love. So the woman has the brain before sex happens, and the man has the brain after the sex happens. And the man has love before sex happens, and then post-nut clarity. and the woman has love after sex happens. That's a
I
stupid
think you're
thing.
talking about lust, but not love.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
it's a little
stupid
different. Well,
thing.
and the thing is if a girl, like
Well,
But
in
that's one of the
reality,
things that's actually, man, we're exposing all of my upcoming
well,
stuff. We're going to talk
it goes
a lot
even
about
deeper
love.
than that too, Grid. I mean, it really depends on like the kind of sex you're having too. Like if you have like unprotected sex with a girl, like you're gonna be like women release hormones into like when you have sex with them,
Yeah.
and you become literally addicted to them. Like that's what the whole like first 3 months, 4 months of like continued just infatuation in the beginning of a relationship. It's because it's meant to have like impregnation in the beginning. It's meant to like stimulate like impregnation in the beginning of the relationship, like as soon as possible.
Girls call this situationships
give me one
and
sec,
serial monogamy. Yep,
give me one sec, Casper. So Angel Berber, before we get too far off topic, the connection to elders help maintain cultural norms. He was raised in the presence of his grandparents and grandparents, him and his cousins. Yeah, that's really true. And we're gonna talk about that because I feel like that we've lost a step when it comes to what we see as a great relationship. We have what we're told on. Michelle's getting after you guys. You guys aren't sending in those donos. Don't make her mad.
Yeah,
it's been way too long. Been way too long since I've seen one.
Way too quiet in here. We're almost out of time, guys. Almost time for me
Means
to.
You're having a good panel, Grid. Okay, that means when the people watch this on replay, they're gonna be like, "This is good shit."
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a double edge.
And you're right, Grid. I think you know what a good view of what old relationships are. Watch old movies.
I do.
Watch, if you want, Grid, I love watching like old movies from the 30s, 40s, 50s.
Yeah.
I do, Grid. I find them entertaining,
man. I like Perry Mason, dude. I like The Saint. I like all of that.
I was just gonna watch an old John Wayne and
black and white
James Caan movie. You know what I mean? Like an old night. I think it was like 53. It was it was gonna be a good one. And that's the thing. If you look back at those, there's movies like where the husband like spanks the wife like in front of people and says, "No, you can't be doing that," and spanks her and stuff. I'm not saying I think that's an exaggeration, but it's really what it's showing is that like men just disciplined and kept things in line. But the problem is now men are like. The thing is Grid, men are kind of stuck into a rock and a hard place because and the worst thing in the world is being stuck in the middle. I think what men have to do is make a choice as a whole. They need to choose if they're going to be these new age weak men or if they're going to be the men they're supposed to be, because sitting in the middle, Grid, is almost worse than picking.
TTS.
Oh, sorry.
Tiki Tac donated $20.
$20 comes in from Tiki Tac. Thank you, sir. I hope you're enjoying walking your dogs, and I hope that you've been able to hear the show. And once again, TTS works. That's great. So look, Imperious, man, I agree with you.
You know what to say, but
that's advanced. That's advanced stuff for most people, man. I got to be honest with you because people have lost the definition between lust and love.
And there's many kinds of love too. I think the Bible references 3.
Yes.
And then that's the thing. The love that like evolves from maybe the love of like lust and wanting like that becomes a more love of like friendship. I think as you get older, it doesn't become. I mean, yeah, they may be sexual or intimate once in a while, but I think it becomes more of a friend and like a familiarity that they're like they're just like half of you. You know what I mean? You just know they're always going to be there. You know their routines. It's that familiarity, that comfort, that safety, security that you have that other person. And that becomes like a more friendship or brothers, not or familial love. It's not so like grab and throw you around, after 30 years. It's, you know what I mean? And I think it evolves like anything.
I feel like that. Well, my observation is that, first of all, we don't talk about the differences between lust.
Rambo 3. Did you see that quote? Read Mr.
I saw that. Yeah. She gets shot in 10 minutes later. Yeah. I think it's 20 minutes, but yeah, close enough.
Burma's a war zone.
Yeah. I mean, why are we teaching young men the difference between lust and love? Why is it that all sex, all of these petty relationships are characterized as love, or just, either love or it's not love, right? And
I
we don't
don't think.
acknowledge the fact that it's just simple lust, right? Like we are in lust with someone, right? Why can't
Can
what happened to that? Why don't we
Greg,
do
you
that?
can't load this onto boys. Like, in my opinion, this is something that grandmothers should be teaching their granddaughters to. Like, for a man, that it isn't as dangerous if he mistakes love and lust. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. He's gonna go to the next one, or he's gonna
You're old
stay.
enough, Casper, where
Yeah,
you
but it's
I'm
also
sure that you
guys too. And I
yeah,
would even
so
say this about myself. Like I had my time in college and late in like, senior year in high school, junior year in high school and college. And, but I never did what these people are doing now. Like I was always
right.
at least seeing someone as like a consistency. I never really did like one night stands and things like that. Like to me,
Yeah.
that was just, I didn't like that. I didn't want to like, I had a nice apartment in college, a nice thing.
Mhm.
I didn't want to let some chick I didn't know in my house. I had expensive shit. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want to just let her in and do whatever. And so it's like to
Yeah.
me, it's like I don't know. People are just so trusting and just nothing. I don't know, dude. Like I was raised. You remember Stone Cold back in the day? DTA, don't trust anybody.
Yeah.
You remember
Yeah.
that grid?
I
And
do.
that's kind of how it goes, man.
It's a
I don't sit there
little
and
after
just.
my time, but not much.
But
But
you get what I'm saying. You might not,
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, maybe I'm a little younger than you, but I'm sure
yeah.
remember, it's just that you don't just go around trusting people for no reason. Like
Right,
nowadays,
right.
people are stupid and gullible. I
Yeah.
don't know, dude.
Let me get back to Casper for a minute. Casper, dude, you're old enough.
Mhm.
You're old
Yeah.
enough to remember. I'm sure that you had friends when you were like, "Oh man, this girl, she's so hot, she's beautiful. I just can't stand to not be around her." And they're just like, "Dude, that's just lust, man. Get your head right. You are not in love with this girl. You're in love with the shape of her ass, or whatever."
I've seen it, but
I'm
then,
sure you're old enough to have had those conversations.
yeah, but I'm kind of trying to jump between two cultures, if that makes
Sure.
sense, Greg. Yeah, so it's like when I came to Weston, it was less prominent. Like, to build upon what Imperius said, it's
Mhm.
like there was two types of guys later on. Okay, like there were dudes who just got their first apartment and were looking to bring a girl over home, no matter what. Like, it became a tool. And then there was Imperius, who's like, I don't want this bitch on my expensive shit. Do you get what I mean? And then one guy would have been Imperius, would know exactly what you're talking about as well as I will. But like a new kid, if you give a 20-year-old, this is like fresh and fit. If you give him a fucking Lambo and an apartment, he's gonna be trying to get his body count up instead of
Yeah. Sure.
settling down. So this is sorry.
Yeah, I go by the motto: I treat objects like women. So I just, I like my things. Like I mean, women, like that's fine, like, but I like my hobbies. I like the things I've earned and I bought for myself. I like my, my suit collection, or, all my little things. I don't need like a girl coming in and just ruining my stuff and my world. I like coming home and it's like there's nothing ruined in the
I
house.
mean, you know, I'm just going to assume that you have, maybe a little bit more self-control than the average person, but
No, but I
there's-
didn't, Grid. I did. And
yeah.
I
No,
understood,
I
but
know. I mean,
even
we all go
back
through
in
that.
the day, I was never doing what these people are doing now, Grid. It's on
Mhm.
another level, man. Like I was in a fraternity. I had crazy times but I was never like doing what, like I would never bring just random people home to my place. Like you never know what can happen. Not just that, but I heard stories in the Greek life of what happens about,
Well, that's
false
yeah, right. That's the other
accusations.
thing too, right? Where
And so I was always aware of that, Greg, because I knew people and even in my fraternity that dealt with stuff like that. And I
well,
never wanted to be part of it, Greg.
yeah, well, what were you, KA?
No, Sigma Nu.
Oh, okay. All right. You really strike me as KA, but okay, it's okay. The anyway, I'm sorry, I digress. Vengeful Truther, we were talking about how men no longer call men out on the fact that they're not actually in love with women. You're just in lust with them. And you need to know the difference, because thinking you are in love when it's actually lust will ruin your damn life. And and I just really feel like that. Well, it's not that I feel like, my observation is that men don't do that for each other anymore. I even in fraternities, it's gotten way less common, and you know, Imperius is right. In fraternities, if a dude was, getting a little too close to crazy, his boys would help him out. Now what you have is a society where your boys aren't going to help you out. They're jealous, and they're just going to watch you go down in flames so they can pick up the pieces.
It's two things on top of it too. There's so many magnifiers for this. Okay, so like there's a scarcity, like, and which kind of increases the mate guarding, which kind of leads to like all the friendship groups disappearing. Because quite often, like, here's something I observed at one point. Okay, I don't know if it's still permanent in younger people, but whenever a new couple would form, they'd all go off on their honeymoon phase.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if Imperius saw this, because you guys are American. Like, I don't know what it was like over there, but like, a guy will get a girlfriend and then fucking see the cunt for like 2 months.
Oh yeah. It's the original. Yeah, it's like he's all into her and stuff. I mean, it doesn't happen so much now when you're older. I think past like you're 24, you won't really see that. But yeah, in college age and stuff. Oh yeah, dude. Oh, dude, I had a good friend one time who literally was dating a girl like 200 miles away at another university, and he was so attached to this chick. And like, even it like when he'd literally send thousands of messages to her a day, like on his cell. And we used to give him so much shit, dude, because it's like,
as you should.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because to me, it's like, I get it's the new beginning and you're all into everything and you guys are all, but it's just, you gotta have some kind of like guiding, like drive in you other than just sex.
Have you ever had to have some self-respect, man? Speech.
Oh yeah. Well, I have too much pride. I mean, maybe it's a positive where pride might be a good thing, but I'm telling you, like, that's the thing. Everything I look at it is that going to make me look better or worse? You know what I mean? I just like when I look at a girl.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that about you. Yeah.
Like, I don't look at a girl necessarily as like like if I want to like get with a girl, I look at, is she gonna be really hot after 3 kids? Is she gonna, like, can I tolerate her voice when she's talking? Is she gonna be? Has she been around with too many people? Has been with too many people? Because again, that reflects me. Like, I don't want what I have been available to other people.
Yeah, it's interesting. It used to be that both husbands and wives really cared how they reflected upon each other, and today I think a large number of people really don't think about that.
Well, and I don't think people even care anymore. I think if the worse you look nowadays, the more like authentic you are or something.
Oh, yeah,
I don't.
my authentic self. Yeah, I love that.
Well, that's the whole my truth and all this bullshit. Like, you can't discard their experience. Fuck yeah, I can't. Sorry, Grid.
I don't have any. Yeah, who cares about their experience? So I'm going to say, Angel Berber says hobbies and purpose should be something a man should have as part of a character package with theology and culture to help maintain discipline and willpower to deal with his vices. We all do have vices, and we all must learn to control them. And if we don't, we end up in trouble. And that's just the way it is, guys. I mean, we can act like it's not going to happen. We can act like that we're better than that, or whatever you want to call it. But the reality is, end of day, and we're going to go into this. We're going to go into a lot of the topics we kind of touched on tonight. One of the ones is going to be lust, because
it's the toughest. It's one of the toughest sins. It's one of the toughest sins, man. It really. I mean, pride's the toughest. Is the hardest.
Yeah.
But man, lust in these days is. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, dude. No, I was gonna wrench it. Like, here's a funny one for you, Grid. Like, that's something you gotta preach at the top 5% of men. That's the Rollo calls it ice cream licking or jealousy or don't hate the game. But like, people who are indulging in that on the male side is a very few select men, and on female side, it's pretty much an age thing, if that makes sense. Like 20-year-old girls are gonna indulge it in it a hell of a lot more than, I don't know, 7-year-old woman. But whatever, I digress.
Yeah. All right, guys, it's almost time to wrap up. We got 12 minutes on the clock. Give me just 1 minute. I'm gonna $5 from K2 Keep on Trucking. Really appreciate that, brother. I know you work hard for your money.
It's a good movie, True Grit, man.
Yeah, I call that bold talk for a one-eyed fat man. Since you talked about,
I've got a topic. I've got a topic for you.
The original True Grit.
Yeah, I've got a topic for you, Grid, because you ran away from it last time. Okay, so now you're gonna have 10 minutes to discuss it.
I didn't run away
because you've been consuming a little bit of black pill bullshit content, right? The shitosphere, like Taylor the Fiend. So
no, I don't. I don't actually.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Much content, but go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
That's fair. But like, you've seen the numbers that these boys get, right? Like all the black pill channels, right? Like, so here's a funny thing for you to keep in mind. Every single one of these black manosphere misogynistic channels was promoting Trump. Every single one. Like, from, I don't know, the most popular would be like Legion of Men or whatever. And the least popular ones I'll send you if you really want to see it.
Yeah, man.
The Legion of Man guy isn't bad though. He's not all like really that red. I mean, he's red pill, but he's not like corny like that's the thing. Like he's not sitting there just ripping on women all the time. He will give credit to them when they make good choices and stuff. To me, the ones I don't. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Who are you talking about? I missed that.
He's a guy. Legion of Men. He's actually a good dude. Like, I actually liked when he used to have that show with his friend Sophie. Is that his friend or his sister? I don't know who the hell it was.
Filipino girl.
She's Filipino and Asia or Mexican or something. I think she's Mexican or something. But yeah, she was really cool because she was pretty like, she was a little older. You know, she was like 45 or something. So she had kind of a different take. She couldn't even believe how these girls are. She was just like, holy Jesus, like. And that's what I'm saying. Like, what it really is you've normalized the most extreme.
Well, let me tell you, my wife, when I talk about some of this, when I tell her, hey, we're going to talk about this tonight, she'll be like, why? And I'm like, well, because literally this is what these girls are saying. And I show her. Well, first of all, she won't believe me. So then I show her, and she's like, this is insane. This is horrible. And I'm like, yeah, that's it exactly. So with that, let's get some last words in here. You guys plug, if you got channels or something to plug. Before we do that, just 1 second. John Mosman, they do have a True Grit Cafe near there, and it's cool. And Michigan Christian, Flo is once again kind of debating against Jim Bob. And that looks like it's hilarious. So I'm going to send you guys over there.
Yeah, go to Flow State's channel or whatever. It'll be funny.
It'll be hilarious. I probably should hit Speakeasy, but it's just Jim Bob.
No, definitely hit Flow. Jim Bob is so underrated. Please hit him.
Yeah, Jim Bob is so funny and hilarious. So we're gonna hit those guys. Legion of Men is not bad at all for a men's advocate. I don't think of him as red pill because he still holds to family and values, not just self-improvement.
He's very like, he's a religious man. Like, he's about like, I think he's just kind of an older guy that just says, hey, like, you need to make your choices for yourself, do what you want to do, make the choice, and go at it 100%. He's not really like red pill saying like, this is a formula saying, if you get this tall and you get this many abs, you make this money, you'll automatically get that shit to me is nerdy as that's nerdy as hell to me, dude. That's some nerdy ass. That's some goofy ass shit, dude. Like, women don't look at men in the same beauty way that men look at women. And to me, I personally, and if I was a woman, I would be even more so. Any man that is that good looking, that is reliant on his looks for his existed
Well, you should run. Like, how
is
is
very
it?
suspicious to me.
Oh,
I mean,
you
you know what I
should
mean? Like, I'm a decent looking guy. I take care. But if I'm sitting there and a girl's calling me gorgeous or something, and guys, you know, to me, that would to me, I would just, that would not be what I would want to be. I would throw myself off a cliff, I think. Like, I like when girls say, oh, yeah, you're cute. Or, yeah, you have a great, you know, your body's in good shape. You know, that's fine.
Yeah.
But, like, if a girl was like, oh, my God, you're gorgeous. I'm just,
I like
I
it
don't
a lot
wanna
better
be
when they
even-
tell me that I'm like useful.
yeah,
Before you
tell me
answer-
I'm smart, I'm strong, I'm, you know,
I'm
I'm dangerous. Even I'm dangerous or I'm scared. You know, that's even better than,
Yeah, I've had that
you know,
before.
Sorry, let me jump in because the lag. I can't fucking. Here's an idea for you, and I'd love to ask Michelle this. It's like, how many girls actually? This is how you compliment a girl. Okay, throw all that away. But like, how many girls even know like what is a bad compliment to give a guy? Because
Oh
guys
my
are not
God.
stupid.
No, girls suck
keep
at
going.
reading men.
they
They're
don't
all
even know what a
they're
compliment
horrible
is
at
for
it.
a guy.
No, a
They won't
compliment
even-
for a guy is, hey, like if I go with my boyfriend on the golf course and I notice that he's fighting the wind with his swings and they're really efficient, and I say, hey, like you just had some really powerful, you know, shots today. It was great. Not that I really care about golf, but I noticed what he works on.
Sure.
I mean, that's a compliment.
Yeah, it'll
He
be
worked
like a
hard on that.
All right,
superficial.
guys, we got to do final thoughts, man. I know we're just raging here, and
Sorry, Grid.
no, it's all right, Imperious. I enjoy the
No, you want to jump over to Flo and Jim
but I
Bob.
have
We
to
need
get
to.
up at 5:30 in the morning. So
No, I know. I'm getting up at 4 tomorrow because I'm off Friday. I'm taking Friday off, so I want to get some stuff done. So I feel you, dude. I know.
all right, let's get some final thoughts going. And
All right. You know, again, to me, these are a lot of things that I think we're almost doing the thing what we shouldn't be doing, which is called, you know, digging too deep into something that it doesn't mean anything. You know, it's just the critical nonsense. It's critical theory nonsense that we're trying to fight against that we're doing here. We're just asking why. You know, it has no real answer because it's not really meaningful. So it doesn't really matter that. I think, you know, men and women, I think we need more time apart, actually. I think men need to be around more men more often. And I think women need to be around women more often instead of all this, like, we're around at gyms each other. Women are advertising it. Men are trying to, like, not be men, to not insult women and get them uncomfortable. Men can't be who they want to be. Women are afraid to be who they want to be because men are there and other women are there as competition. And it's just, to me, it's just nonsense. Stop being like, we got to stop overthinking things. We have too much free spare time on our hand. We need to get back to work, and all these things will settle.
I like
So,
that.
that's it.
I like that.
All right, guys.
Michelle,
I'll
what about
talk to
you?
you soon.
How are you?
I don't have a channel. Please don't try to find me. Fuck off and leave me alone. Goodbye.
Michelle's on the corner if you want to find her on Hollywood and
She's
Vine.
not on a corner.
I am not. That's horrible.
She does not do the corner thing.
No.
All right,
I'm not a
Casper.
hooker.
All right, Casper.
You can try find me on Twitter and follow it, but it doesn't exist. Okay, or if it does, you won't find it. Cool shows and good luck. But like, yeah, that's interesting that you're gonna cover all this shit. But you should like,
we're gonna be
hit me up about any topic if you want, and I'll just
absolutely, man. You're welcome anytime to hang out in the chat. I don't normally bring up as many people, but it was cool tonight. So you know, I run a little bit different.
No, I tried to obey by what I've seen and not use full throttle. But yeah. The other guy that he was talking about, like, he's worth a subscription as well. I'll send you his channel. If for nothing else, his community is really good at finding new content creators that are worth something. Yeah, I'll do that. But I'll jump off. Let you finish.
All right, let me close her down, guys. Yeah, all right. Thanks.
I hate
thanks
you,
a lot.
You're all simps.
Yeah, thanks, Angry. Tonight, guys, it's been a good show. I really kind of hate cutting it short tonight, but I do have to get up early. So tonight's just one of those nights where I have to have that heart out. Guys, these are serious things, you know, and we talk about it a lot on the Red Pill guys talk about it, and a bunch of, you know, the degenerates talk about it, but they talk around it and they don't address what I feel like are the key points. And we need to start doing that more and more, because it's very, very important to moving forward and not backwards. And we just have to kind of remember where we came from and figure out where we're going and just draw that line. And I think we're going to be able to do it. And at least we'll have some good conversations about it. In the meantime, guys, be cool. Wear glasses if you need them. And enjoy Andrew Wilson laughing at harlots while I play this cool intro and get off my lawn.
Yeah, I just answered your question. Can you tell me what epistemology means?
Epistemology is the study of the epistles. I mean, you can. I told me that a husband and wife is supposed to be the representation of God and the church. He said he's a husband. I asked him if he sees himself as the embodiment of God, and he said no. That doesn't make any sense.
Wait, what is the epistles?
The epistles are the apostles. Are you talking about the